Well, there we are. So we're going to start with a quick hymn sing. I think we're going to start with number 210, Wade in the Water. We'll do some water songs today and welcoming songs. So let's start at hymn sing with 210, Wade in the Water. We have a couple choir members who want to come help with the mic. It'd be great.
Did you say 390? 390.
So this has three parts. In anticipation of the children's song later, we're going to split the congregation into three parts, and these will be the three ones you use for the Namaste song later, too. So the people to my left will be group part one, then the people in the middle here, part two, and then the people to my right, part three. So the part two is this kind of squishy part, so it's kind of sort of half of this section, half of this section part two, half part two. So we have three choir members help lead. Exactly. So we need a third choir member to help lead part three. So here comes part one. Instead of singing it as a round, we're just going to each learn each part and then sing it together. And the words are Gaude Amus Hodie, which means welcome and rejoice. There's group one. Ready, and Gaude Amus, Gaude Amus, Gaude Amus Hodie, Gaude Amus, Gaude Amus Hodie. Once again, group part one. Gaude Amus Hodie, Gaude Amus, Gaude Amus Hodie. Here comes part two. Goes Gaude. People in the middle here. Amus, Gaude Amus Hodie. One more time, part two. Gaude Amus, Gaude. Let's try the part one and two together. One and two together. Gaude Amus. Gaudeamus, 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 Hodie, Hodie. One more time, part 3. Gaudeamus, 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 Hodie. All 3 parts, here we go, ready, and you ready to go? You got one more? Yep, okay. Good, we're going to do, I think it's 1046 in the teal hymnal. It's called We Shall Gather by the River. Is that right? 1046?
Shall we gather by the river? It's a question, not an answer. Shall we gather at the river where
Good morning. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. I am Sienna Butler, a member of the Worship Associates Ministry. We want to welcome any guests or newcomers to our church and call attention to the special note for you. Welcome guests and newcomers on the back of the order of service. After service, please join us for our in-person Sunday social. We also welcome those online. Lyrics to hymns and all elements of the service may be found on the live stream screen. A complete order of service, including weekly announcements, is available, the link in the Sunday morning email or on the church website. Please turn off or silence any cell phones during the service to maintain a worshipful experience. Whomever you are, whoever you love, however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. Now for the opening hymn, number 100 in the gray hymnal, I've Got Peace Like a River. We come together as a community. we each bring our own lives, our own struggles and successes. We each bring our own lives, and here our lives merge. Like streams merging to form a river, like rivers flowing into the sea. What will we find in this community we create? Will we dance in puddles of joy? Will we find an ocean of compassion to hold our saltwater tears? Will we follow strong rivers carrying us in the ways of justice? Will we find depths of creativity under the sea? Will we discover deep well springs of faith? Come, let us worship together. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind, the church of the loving heart. This is the church of the helping hands. Now, for our musical presentation, the Community Church Singers.
So the reading this morning is kind of a mystery. It's a reading that I found or was handed to me 25 years ago, and I have no idea where I found it. But I remember that it was like 25 years ago. And I remember thinking, oh, this would be a great reading for church. And I think I used it like 20 years ago. And then in thinking about the service this morning, I was like, oh, there's that reading. And of course, I had long lost it. So I went searching for it. And it turns out that Googling 10 rules for whitewater rafting, it's really hard to get what you're looking for there. But I found it. And the thing about this reading is it's all about whitewater rafting, but it's not really about whitewater rafting. And in fact, the version of it that I found was 10 Rules for Whitewater Rafting and Congregational Life was the title. So are we ready? We're not ready. Hold on one second. Ten rules for whitewater rafting and congregational life. Rule number 1, whitewater rafting is what you signed up for. Enjoy it. Rule number 2, rest in the calm places. There's going to be plenty more whitewater soon. Rule 3, don't stop paddling even when it seems hopeless. Rule number 4, when you feel like you're in trouble, don't panic. Rule number 5, if you fall in, hang on to your life jacket and let go of everything else. Rule number 6, don't be surprised if the raft doesn't go where you want it to go. Rule number 7, everyone paddles furiously, but it's still the current that takes you to where you're going. Rule number 8, the more activity on the right side of the boat, the more it goes to the left. And the more activity on the left side of the boat, the more it goes to the right. Rule number 9, decide who is going to steer. Is it the person in the bow or the person in the stern? Let that person be the one who steers. And finally, rule number 10, be kind to the other people in your raft. They are the ones with whom you will camp tonight, and they are also the ones who will pull you back into the boat if you fall out. Thus ends the reading. We're now going to sing another hymn. It was fun to choose all of these water hymns this morning. Number 1007 in the teal hymnal is There's a River Flowing in My Soul, and I invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we sing.
There's a river
By the way, a big shout out to Ernie Wilkes, who are dropping off his whitewater rafting. And Ernie always has a rubber ducky, and he even has a Unitarian Universalist sticker on his, and I guess in light of like election season, he's also got a one that says "I voted," which is an Owl's Burger Shack sticker. That's a great helmet. So last month in church, I gave a sermon about courage, and I began that sermon by telling a story about going skydiving. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about courage too, and I'm going to begin by going whitewater rafting. And I'm afraid that I'm soon going to run out of thrilling adventures to tell you about in these sermons. I'm not actually sure that it takes courage to go skydiving or whitewater rafting, but these sorts of activities are pretty good metaphors for thinking about courage. So 2 weeks ago, my family, Anne and Lydia and I, went up into the mountains and went whitewater rafting on the Pigeon River, just over the state line into Tennessee. It was a lot of fun. During our adventure, we were surrounded by beauty, a beautiful river, beautiful trees and rocks, beautiful mountains, and a beautiful sky high above us. It was a hot day, thankfully, and the cold mountain water of the river was refreshing. The best part of that day was rafting down the rapids, where you get jostled and tossed up and down, splashed and soaked with water, which was thrilling and exciting and maybe even just a little bit scary. Has anybody ever been whitewater rafting before? Look at this. I am talking to some pros here. When I asked who had been skydiving, like only 3 people raised their hand that morning. So whitewater rafting is a metaphor for so much. UU minister Reverend Heather Concannon puts it this way: "Friends, we must navigate a lot of white water in the world," she writes. Some like this rafting trip that we signed up for. It's thrilling and exciting, and it's adrenaline rush aliveness. But some whitewater, like all water and like life itself, can also be dangerous and scary and overwhelming and not at all what we expected. Some people get tossed into the rapids that they did not ask for. Reverend Concannon is right. We'll all experience times in our lives where we find ourselves carried away by strong currents, bounced by rocks and waves, jostled, tossed, and buffeted. We will all experience being caught up in strong currents that are beyond our control. And in the midst of it, we'll do our best to hold on tight and try to get through it as best we can. Has there ever been a time in your life where you've felt tossed and jostled about? An illness can make us feel out of control. The loss of someone we love can feel like being swept away. Losing a job can feel like falling out of the boat. Sometimes these changes can feel scary and disorienting. And our larger world sometimes feels scary and disorienting too. When has life felt bumpy to you? The other neat thing about whitewater rafting is that it's social. You don't do it alone, you do it with a group in the boat. And the people who wind up in your raft with you, even if you've just met them, they become quickly your community. Here's how Reverend Heather Concannon put it. She says, "I come into church, to this community, because I pray that when the whitewater comes, and I have no doubt, it has and it will again. My prayer is that when it comes, there are people who are ready to pull us back in the boat, to lend sweatshirts and blankets if we're cold. And my prayer is that we may be those people for one another." I think she's absolutely right. We don't paddle alone. There are people in our raft with us. They're looking out for us. They pull us back in the boat if we fall out. They help us paddle out of the sticky spots where we might get stuck. And they celebrate with us when we make it through the rapids. One of the things that our river guide did on our river rafting excursion was after we'd passed through a stretch of Whitewater, he would say, "All right, it's time," and we would all raise up our paddles to the center of the boat and smack them together. He called this a paddle high five, and it was fun. And it's important in community to thank each other and cheer each other on and celebrate with each other when we pass through something. This summer and fall, we're going to be exploring courage in church. It's going to be the worship theme for at least the first half of the church year. Courage is not about thrill-seeking and adrenaline chasing. That's not all there is to courage. So I want to say two things about courage that I'm going to invite us to carry with us. First is that courage is often about being willing to do things that take us out of our comfort zone. Reverend Heather Concannon, one more time. She writes, "Friends, we don't come into community to be comfortable, but to grow as people. We're here as a church not to stay warm and dry, but to help each other out when we get cold. And this beautiful sanctuary does nothing to help us to avoid Whitewater, but we are instead here to learn to navigate it as best we can, to help pull one another back into the boat, to rest in the calm places together. In that way, our community becomes a place to practice what it means to be fully human." And related to that, there's a second thing that I want to say about courage, which is that in community, we give each other courage. We inspire one another. We challenge one another. We call each other into having success on our trip. In a community, I think that if it were just me alone in a boat going down, I think that awful times on that trip, I would have just gotten out and dragged my canoe or my kayak down the water a little bit and then put it back in. It would have been a lot less fun of a trip. But with other people in the boat with me, we looked at the challenges together and we looked at each other and we said, yes, we can do this. And so the second thing I want to say about courage this morning is to make sure that we know that in community, we help each other to be courageous, and we help each other to meet these courageous challenges that we face. Are we ready to go whitewater rafting? And so with that, we are going to move ahead in the service to the time of our offering and then to our whitewater ritual.
And now, it is time for our offertory. Freely we have received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit. Gladly, we bring to our church its wide concerns and a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, please point your camera at the QR code on the back of the order service and tap the banner that appears. Or there is information on the church's website. We will now receive the morning offering to the community church or the community children's choir.
Hello, everyone. So the Chalice Choir has a piece for you today, and it's a partner song, just like the hymn we did earlier today. So for the chorus, we're going to split you into three. So we're going to have this section, and this section. And so should we go over the... Yeah. So the first part, which is going to be this section. Hi, hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jumbo. Hi, hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jumbo. And then we've got the second part, which is going to be the middle. Right? It goes, bonjour, shalom, привет, namaste. over here. So they're going to do the first verse, which goes with part 1, the second verse, which goes with part 2, the third verse goes with part 3, and in verses 4 through 6, we're going to sing all parts together. All right.
I don't know your name. We speak different languages. We may not be the same, but I reach out my hand to you and I say hi. Hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jambo. Hi. Hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jambo.
I don't know your name. We eat different kinds of food. We may not be the same, but I reach out my hand to you and I say,
Bonjour, shalom, privet, namaste. Bonjour, shalom, privet, namaste. I don't know your name. We have different holidays. We may not be the same, but I reach out my hand to you and I say, Guten Tag, Calimera, aloha, osio. Guten Tag, Calimera, aloha, osio. I don't know your name. We wear different kinds of clothes. We may not be the same, but I reach out my hand to you and I say,
Hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jambo. Hi. Hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jambo.
I don't know your name. We have different points of view. We may not be the same, but I reach out my hand to you and I say hi.
Hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jambo. Hi. Hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jambo.
I don't know your name. We speak different languages. We may not be the same, but I reach out my hand to you and I say,
Hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jambo. Hi. Hola, salam, konnichiwa, ni hao, buongiorno, jambo.
We were talking about how lovely that was, and then we forgot to come up here. Some of you know what this is. So, what's in the Wonder Box?
It says Whitewater ingredients.
That's interesting. Let's see what's inside.
Water,
Okay, well, that's a very short recipe, so I wonder what that could possibly mean.
Well, this is what I know about water. It's amazing. It's necessary for life. Water covers 70% of the earth. Water makes up 75% of the human body. It's powerful. Water can carve out canyons. It's so flexible. It can seep, flow, and wash anywhere and anything into any crack or cranny. It can fill any shape. The more of it there is, the more water, the stronger the water is. It's awesome, literally.
And what I know about rocks is that they're hard, they're not very flexible, they probably represent the struggles that we each experience. And no two are identical, but everybody has something hard that they deal with in life.
But Whitewater, it can't just be rocks and water. It feels like you need something else for Whitewater.
Maybe something like courage?
Ah, yes. Courage can be like water. It is the power to be flexible like water, to go around any problem, surround a problem. And courage in community is like water too. When we are courageous together, we are even more powerful. Together, we could carve out canyons, and we don't have to deal with hard things alone. Together is definitely easier.
So in a moment, we're going to come forward for our water communion, which is a traditional UU ritual, which a lot of UUs do together at the beginning of things, like today, which is the beginning of the new church year. The idea is we are like water, and each of us is like a separate cup of water. But when we all come together in communion, we are strong, like a powerful river. This year, our water communion is going to be a white water communion, and we will mix rocks with our water. There is space here at church enough for both the hard and the good, and we are more courageous when we are together.
This year, for our Whitewater communion, you are invited to come up along the side aisles. So this side comes down this side, and that side comes down that side. And you stop by these little tables and pick up a rock, and then move to the center, and you can pour a little water into our community vessel, and then drop in a rock. We have water in pitchers, which you can use, or if you brought your own water from home, or you even saved from a summer adventure, you can pour that water instead. And then you return to your seat up the center aisle. This communion is a little different because we're going to start with the back rows and move towards the front, and Kat and I will be there to help you.
So we should demonstrate this. This is the hardest part. Do you want to go first?
I can't remember. Let's do rock, paper, scissors for it.
Okay, but don't you mean rock, water, courage?
Yes.
Okay,
Ready?
1 second. Okay. Rock,
1, 2,
water,
3.
courage. Okay, well, courage beats rock,
Okay.
so best 2 out of 3.
All right.
Okay.
Rock,
water, courage.
Courage wins.
Yeah, I mean, courage beats water too. So let's try it third time,
All right.
tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker. Right, okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Rock, water, courage.
Courage wins. Let's do it together.
Okay.
All right.
Water.
Yeah.
lot of Whitewater courage this morning. Let us sing one more time. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in 1064. What else could it be but Blue Boat Home? Let us sing together.
Please remain standing in body or spirit. The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now for shalom.
Thank